1.
Hi, I'm SrA Bolz.
SSgt Provencher.
Mike Pawlak.
Curtis Moore.
I'd like to start out with a couple questions. How many of you would like to be told that you're too short to get on a roller coaster? It happens, right? What about you're not smart enough to pursue your vocation and your dreams? Or what if you were told that you were too obese to get on an airplane, where you have to buy 2 tickets to fill a slot on an airplane? Or even worse, what if you were told that you're too fat to defend the freedom of your country? Let's face it, America is fat, dumb, and happy. And it's our sedentary lifestyles, advertisement, technology, the media, and this new accept me for who I am mentality that is pushing America into this childhood obesity that we're in now. I say it's time to trim the fat. Go straight for the source. Although there are many factors that contribute to the childhood obesity crisis that we're in now, the media has set the bar. The media has been able to be in places regardless of how we feel about it. I mean, it's in everything. Look at magazines, TV shows, even our children's cartoons. The most watched cartoon now is SpongeBob. And I guarantee you, you can't go an episode without talking about eating Krabby Patties. The media influences everything we do in everyday life. So the question is asked, are our children really too fat? Am I just being melodramatic? Well, I can tell you, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, since the 1980s, the proportion of overweight children from ages 6 to 11 has more than doubled, and of adolescents has tripled. I think it's kind of clear that there's an issue here. Today, about 10% of 2 to 5-year-olds and 15% of 6 to 19-year-olds are either morbidly obese or obese. And now, it's on Capitol Hill. That's right. Barack Obama has actually started a task force where he's trying to grab this problem head on. And who really wants the government dictating how we take care of our children, what they eat? But it's becoming such an issue where you can even say that it's becoming a national security problem. When the actual task force is ran by Michelle Obama, and it's real. It's called the Let's Move campaign. And it's not just Michelle Obama, it's Michelle Obama and the Health and Human Services Secretary. And what this campaign is basically something that's put together to dictate what your children are eating, at what age, and how much TV they're watching. So you're talking about another entity coming in and dictating, once again, what your children are doing during the day. And that's according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So it's clear there's a problem. And I've sat back and done my own research and found one common denominator: the media. The media is the culprit. And they feed on our children like vultures feeding for an easy meal. Why? Because that's a moneymaker. Everyone knows that your children can influence you to buy them what they want. You want to make your kids happy, right? So the media is using your children as a middleman to make money. And you really can't be mad at them, because we allow them to make that kind of money on our children. Did you know children now watch on average of 40,000 commercials a year? And that's up 10,000 from the 1980s. In the 80s, they watched 30,000 commercials a year. So clearly they're making money on this. And you can find that at the Henry J. Kaiser Family Foundation of 2004. Businesses spend well over $15 billion a year selling to kids through television, computer games, and the internet. And the internet is something that we all use on an everyday basis. Your 3-year-olds now can actually get online. I know mine can get online and actually go to her Nick Jr., and actually type in URLs by me pushing her towards the buttons, but it can be done. Our youth is getting smarter, and they're being influenced more and more by the conduit of the media, such as your television and your internet. And did you know they've even made it into our schools? That's right, they've moved right into our curriculum. When we were kids, we would watch Reading Rainbow and Schoolhouse Rock. But now, part of your children's curriculum is something called Channel 1. Channel 1 is actually in more than 12,000 schools across the United States. And it consists of about 10 minutes of current events programming and 2 minutes of commercials. Advertisers pay over $200,000 for time and the opportunity to target 40% of our nation's teenagers for 30 seconds at a time, according to the official journal of American Academy of Pediatrics. So why do we allow our children to be so exposed to the media and its influences? Well, it's not completely our fault, because like I said, the media is everywhere. And nowadays, video games and television are more of our everyday lives. Technology offers so much more. And because you're sitting back and playing video games, it's safe to say that your kids are actually eating while they do it, and playing outside a lot less. You can pretty much do what you need to do as a child, whether it's school, talking to your friends, communicating, social networking from your house. You know, and that doesn't include you out shooting hoops or running on the track. Decreased parental supervision due to the extended workloads and our unsafe neighborhoods are also culprits to blame for this situation. We're in a recession, and it's safe to say that you would prefer to know where your children are. And 40% of today's households actually consist of one parent. So while that parent is out making money, your child, or your latched-door children, so to speak, are coming in, have free reign to the pantry, and are either playing video games or watching TV, but are less likely to be outside playing soccer and doing physical activities. I compare childhood obesity crisis to watching a train wreck. Nobody wants to watch it, but it's hard to turn away. See, as a nation, we're embracing this accept me for who I am on the inside, and not really telling our children the truth. You have people like Oprah Winfrey and Rosie O'Donnell sitting back and saying you're beautiful, it's okay to be fat, but in reality it's really not. You know, we're telling our kids lies, because you can be held back from obesity. You know, our kids nowadays are embracing this and thinking it's okay, but we know that kids are mean, kids are cruel. Did you know kids who are obese are more likely to commit suicide? That's a fact. Or are more likely to have lower self-esteem, because kids are brutal. Anything that's different, they're going to pick at. And then when you're finding yourself socially as a kid, your targets are your fat kids, your kids who are mentally challenged, the different children. As you feed them at the dinner table, 3 or 4 portions. So you actually can control that. So who's really to blame? Why are we raising children and telling them that they can do whatever they want, knowing that obesity will still keep them from it? And that's a question to ponder. Obesity is the #1 reason why kids can't join the military. Did you know that? The #1 reason. You're talking above education and criminal records, according to www.executivegov.com. So are children really too fat? I think I've given you enough facts on that. And is the media the culprit? It is. But what I didn't really hit too much on is how do we fix it? Us as parents, we really need to get involved. We don't need big government intervening. We need to fix it here in our homes. So it's clear we need to take charge of the youth as parents and keep them from eating themselves into an early grave. I call them sheep, kids that follow the lead of the biggest influence in the world, the media. And if that doesn't persuade you, look at these kids here. There's 2 things they're doing. They're eating and they're watching TV. And there's not a parent in sight. I charge you to take charge of your children and keep them from being influenced by the media. Thanks.
I'm good.